Support the work of Strike 7 Sports by heading to fanatics.com and purchasing officially licensed gear from the NFL, the NBA, and more. Each purchase made through the text link below goes into the funding of the Strike 7 Sports brand. To proceed, go to the link strike7sports.com/fanatics. I say again, strike7sports.com/fanatics. Thank you. Yo, what's up? This is your boy Derek Branch here at strike7sports.com. This is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Brian Bottom. This is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. So, a few days ago, the NFL 2022 NFL Draft kicked off, and a lot went down. A lot of things did not happen as we expected. We thought quarterbacks would go in the first round, but only one quarterback went in the first round. That was Kenny Pickett. Everybody else went in the third and fourth and fifth rounds of the NFL Draft. But in particular, I want to focus the attention on two particular teams in the draft, and that's the New York. First one is the New York Jets. The New York Jets, they had a plethora of picks in the first round. I believe it was three first round draft picks. In the first pick, they got Ahmad Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. We all know about him due to the team, the Bearcats playing Memphis. They also, in the second pick, they take Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State University. And that I think it's 29th overall pick, if I'm not mistaken. They take Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State University, a pass rusher who recorded 11.5 sacks last year with the Seminoles. And the second round pick, they take Breece Hall, a running back that I didn't expect to go that high in the second round. I knew he would be a second round pick, but I didn't think the Jets had their attention on him. Took Jeremy Ruckert in the third round. So they had a pretty good draft so far, and everybody's giving them an A plus on their efforts and the moves that they made. But I want to ask you, Brian, with this draft, after the Jets having this type of draft, what does this draft make the New York Jets in the future? How many wins do you see out of this? With the roster right now on paper,
I think they have a chance to compete for a wild card spot. But if you tell me they improved and don't make the playoffs, that's what I expect to happen. So while they're better, I don't know if this means they're going to make the playoffs. I think it just means they'll have a better record. But I think because AFC, is so deep, it may not matter. You can have a better record and make progress, but it still won't mean you'll qualify for the postseason. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just the AFC is just so crowded right now, so stacked with so many good teams, so many good quarterbacks, so many good wide receivers. The verdict is still out on Zach Wilson. They did what they're supposed to do as a franchise that's paying a quarterback on a rookie deal. You're supposed to get out there and acquire talent. They've done that. They got some good receivers in this draft, man. They got I thought the guy who I thought was the best in the draft, and Garrett Wilson. Get Ahmad Sauce Gardner. You get a pass rusher, a tight end, a running back. You pretty much load it up, But it could be difficult, man. I think right now this could be a 8-win team, 7 to 8 win team, possibly fight for a wild card berth. I wouldn't call it overachieving to get to 9 wins in the playoff berth or no playoffs, because nine wins could that doesn't guarantee you a playoff spot, as we saw with the New Orleans Saints last year. But I think they've gotten better. I think they're better. Hopefully this doesn't mean they're gonna they move off of Zach Wilson if they don't make the playoffs. It depends on how he performs. Because there's a chance Lamar Jackson could be available. So if they see a need, they say an opportunity to sign him, they may move off of him. Other than that, man, I think they should hang on to him, and not be so quick to move off of him because of the next year's quarterback class. Anything you want to add?
I'm just making sure we're talking about Zach Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep Zach Wilson. Keep Zach Wilson. I think 1 year is, in my opinion, too quick to judge. You can make case this this front office and the coach. The reason why they went to Zach Wilson, one, a lot of people agreed with, to give yourself more time to extend the window, because if you, from the standpoint of you get to start fresh with a new quarterback instead of with Sam Darnold, there probably would have been more pressure to win right away. But with Zach Wilson, he's good enough. You got to give him more time. I'd say maybe by year 3, then he'll know. But if for some reason a really good quarterback falls to them and they take it, I don't think it's the wrong decision, because sometimes you take the best player available. But right now, I think you got to stick with Zach Wilson.
Okay. And the next team we want to talk about is the Philadelphia Eagles. So the night of the draft, the Eagles made a trade with Tennessee Titans, and to me, I felt like they didn't give up a whole lot to get AJ Brown. They only gave up the 101st pick in the draft. I think that was a third round pick, and a first round pick where they gave up the 18th spot. Still had a first round pick though, and they gave it to Tennessee to get AJ Brown in the draft. They also were able to get, and the same night of the draft, they select Jordan Davis out of Georgia, who played with the Bulldogs, won national championship. Third round, they grab might be the steal of the draft in my opinion, Nakobe Dean out of Georgia, another Georgia Bulldog. So based on the moves that they've made, and on paper right now, this roster, I wrote about this in an article today. Eagles have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, tight end, Zach Pascal coming from Indianapolis. You got Miles Sanders, the running back. Another guy got Zaquez, something like that. I forgot his name, but
Wes Watkins.
yeah, Zaquez Watkins. So all that personnel on your team, to me, I'm asking you, are the Eagles, and along with the defense, you got Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay. Can we now say the Eagles are like a top 4, top 5 team in the NFC with, given the way the conference is set up right now?
I'm not sure top 5, but if you want to say they're a playoff team, I think that's fair. But yeah, that's the way I look at it. I'm going to put them there. Some people, I don't know, I want to know your thoughts. Some people have the Cowboys, or the Eagles ahead of the Cowboys. I still have the Cowboys slightly ahead of the Eagles because they just have the better quarterback. But if the quarterbacks were equal, or obviously if they had the better quarterback, I'm talking about the Cowboys. Excuse me, not the Cowboys. The Eagles. If they have the better quarterback, then I'll give them the edge. But right now, it's not too far, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles won the division.
Yeah, I agree. I would say I'll put them behind the Cowboys, but I'll put them in front of the Washington Commanders and the Giants. I just think on paper they just have a better roster. To me, on paper they have a better roster than Dallas, based on what I see. Dallas did lose a wide receiver. They lose Randy Gregory. They draft Tyler Smith out of Tulsa. So there's of course I think there's some question marks going into this season. But we'll see. The Eagles just gotta go out and show it. And I like what they did. I like what the front office did with Jalen Hurts in regards to developing him, surrounding him with talent instead of just it's Watson's out, Deshaun Watson out there. Let's make a move. They decide to just stay put, get a guy the resources that needed to succeed, and put it on him instead of just being impatient and moving on just because a talent like Deshaun Watson's out there. Because they could have, if they wanted to, they could have made the move. They had the assets to make that happen, but they decided to stay put. So there you have it. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, this is a nice short-term option in Jalen Hurts, but again, if the Eagles decide to take a quarterback, they have the assets to do it next year. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, they think they got I think 9, 7 picks next year. They got the one from the Saints.
Yeah.
So it's in according to the reports, the early mocks is that 6 QBs could go in the first round. So
Yeah.
we'll find out, man. It's going to be interesting. So, but I'm glad they giving him the opportunity, man. They giving him a chance to show that they could be a franchise quarterback. So we'll see. All right, moving right along, man. So the topic that we really want to talk about, we really want to get on to is Ryan Tannehill and these comments made by him yesterday about in regards to Malik Willis. So the media, Tannehill talked to the media yesterday for the first time since the AFC playoffs in which they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. Tannehill threw 3 interceptions in that game. The Titans sacked Burrow 9 times, but they still couldn't get the W. Titans had home field advantage. They talked yesterday. They talked about Tannehill. They talked to him about that loss and how he went to therapy. He took it pretty hard, and they talked. They did mention Malik Willis and him being on his presence on the team right now. I got the audio here of what was said by Tannehill. I'm about to pull it up. Hold on. Just give me a second. All right, here we go.
In a quarterback room in the same room, we're competing against each other. We're watching the same tape. We're doing the same drills. I don't think it's my job to mentor him, but if he learns from me along the way, then that's a great thing.
All right, man. So there you have it. Those are the words from Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee Titans quarterback. That comment got a lot of backlash, a lot of outrage on social media from media members, from the media, former players, former great players, former great NFL QBs, pretty much didn't appreciate the tone of Tannehill in this press conference. But I want to ask you, was this taken out of context, or was this the right thing to say?
Man, this has been a big topic for the past few days. Look, I think he could have maybe worded it better, but I don't have a problem with what he said. Because, number one, it's how he truly feels. I don't want him to hand it to anybody. But also, I don't think he's wrong for having that opinion, because his number one job is to help the Tennessee Titans win. If he does that, then he's done his job. But if he somehow becomes the backup, I think he should help Malik Willis out a little bit. I think that's fair to say. But other than that, I don't think he owes him anything.
You don't think he owes him anything?
No, I don't.
All right, man. I feel the same way, man. I don't get the outrage of him saying this. Dude, 34 years. He's turning 34, right?
Yeah.
He's about to turn 34. He can play another 7 years in the league if he wants to. I mean, I don't see the issue with him saying that, man. He's not supposed to, just say, "Oh, I'm going to be a mentor. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that." That's not his job, man. Malik Willis is there, to come in, learn as much as he can, show the initiative on his own to be the franchise, the quarterback of the future for the Titans. This is the world we live in right now, man. Where things are taken out of context. People just upset just because they want to be fine. They want to find something to be upset about. as always, I don't have an issue with this. It's just being this is just being competitive by Tannehill, man. The team brought somebody in to replace you, man. You're not supposed to like just roll over and just say, hey, I'll mentor the guy and I'll get the job. He got 7 years, at least 7 years left in the league, man. He's still trying to make himself. Even if the Titans do decide to move on, it's on him to make himself more marketable to other NFL teams. So it doesn't make no sense for him to just pander to somebody else, to another fan base, well, another base in general.
Yeah.
But I just want to ask you this, man: if this was Matt Corral, would we have that much outrage, man?
That
From
it's
just
hard.
being real.
I see where you're going, but I don't know. I don't look at it that way. I really don't. So I think the outrage would kind of maybe be the same. But
I don't know, man.
That's your opinion. That's just my opinion too. And you can make it. Is this really outrage, or they just maybe thought he should have worded it better?
You saw the comments. You saw some of the tweets.
Comments. But I mean, if he just said if he asked for help, I'll help him, then I think we're having a different discussion. But because he's the way he kind of said it, like he had maybe like the wrong tone.
But Favre said it the same way.
Yeah, but I guess one thing, Brett Favre was greater than. So I feel like if you're great, you can get away with some stuff. But if you're not, then you can't get away with some stuff. That's my opinion on that a little bit. But the way I look at it is this: Ryan Tannehill, if he wins this, and the thing is, if this team starts to lose, then Malik Willis starts this. Like every little thing, when people are watching their practices, will be paying attention to the little stuff. Unfortunately, because of these comments. But the best thing Ryan Tannehill can do for himself and for this team is win games. You win games, that'll solve a lot of the problems. And the biggest issue you get, and look, I think the Titans needed to draft a quarterback, regardless if Ryan Tannehill had a better end into the season or not. But I think Ryan Tannehill just needs to play really well, be the best version of himself, and the Titans will be all right.
You think so?
Yeah. And another thing, I told you this in the chat. I think that if I was the Titans, I would be redshirting Malik Willis. I wouldn't even play him this year. That's just my personal opinion. I would like for them to sign a guy like a Nick Foles, add a veteran in that room, because as good as Logan Woodside is, if in case Ryan Tannehill gets hurt, I'd rather have Nick Foles than Logan Woodside.
So you think Tannehill is not not Tannehill, but Malik Willis shouldn't even get on the field, even if Tannehill is playing bad?
That's just my opinion. But if the Titans feel like, because look, the word on Malik Willis is he's a project, so I don't think he's going to be ready to contribute in year one, unless if we have no choice to play him. But if you don't have to play him, then I wouldn't. But look, if they feel like he can contribute and he plays well and does well, then I would love to be proven wrong. But that's just my opinion for now.
Yeah, I guess I can agree with that, man. Look, I'm big on not quarterbacks not playing, young quarterbacks, not rookies, not playing the first season, because I just think it depends on the situation. I would prefer that they sit on the bench. They sit on the bench, learn the ins and outs of a pro style offense. The problem is you have a lot of quarterbacks. The whole bridge, to me, the whole bridge like concept never really works out, because the guy that's supposed to be the bridge still believes he's a starting QB, and they don't never actually finish the entire season, because the coach is under pressure by the owner to start the new guy, so it never really works out. But Tannehill, I mean, look, he just got to do what he has to do, man. Just take care of the business on the field and let that stuff, figure itself out, man. Just play so good that you got to put the doubt in the Titans front office mind about moving on from you. So,
Yeah.
That's what he has to do. I think, glad that Malik Willis did get drafted in the third round. And I say that because hopefully, because this could be motivation for him to show everyone that what they missed out on by not taking him.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good system for him. It's a good team. The Tennessee Titans are a good team to join. Compared to going to somewhere like the Detroit Lions or who else picked higher in the draft? The Jacksonville Jaguars or
Yeah.
the the Atlanta Falcons, who is not a team that has winning seasons but are not consistent every year. So he fell to a good situation. I thought he was going to go to Pittsburgh, but they went
Yeah.
decided to go with Kenny Pickett. So we'll see.
All right,
Um,
can I say one few
go
thing?
ahead.
I kind of disagree with some what you're saying about situation because you can make a good situation great. Not right away. I don't ever thought Malik Willis would have been that guy. But for example, everyone was saying that about when I know Josh Rosen didn't go here, but at first he didn't want to go to Cleveland. But Baker Mayfield took the attitude, I want to go there, and he's a big reason why they were able to change the culture and made it into what it is today. So I don't necessarily agree with you shouldn't just want to go somewhere maybe because it's not a great place. But I understand your points of where you're coming from. But I think you can change culture. You can bring win into an organization. It's going to take time. Won't happen overnight. But you just have to have the right mindset and the right coaches and sometimes just being at the right place at the right time. I think that does play a little bit of a role. But I think you can change the culture.
Yeah. Did Andrew Luck change the culture? He broke the memory, man.
The biggest thing that happened with Andrew Luck was he couldn't stay. The Colts didn't protect him until the very end of his career. But yeah, they were winning a lot. They won the very first season. He overachieved in his first season. Now,
First two
I think
seasons.
yeah. So yeah. But it depends on what you define as changing the culture. If you define it by winning a Super Bowl, then a lot of people have failed. But if you define it by making to the playoffs, winning some games, then I think that's success. But it all depends on how you define success.
Okay. All right. So out of I would say the 5 big name QBs that got drafted, which ones do you think is going to see action on the field this year?
I'll probably go with Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaning to Pickett as well. You think Desmond Ritter steps on the field? Do you think he's the QB of the future of the Falcons, or do you think they're gonna look some more in this next draft that features guys like Bryce Young?
Yeah, I think he was just a nice pick. They had a chance to take quarterback, so they took it. But if they get opportunity to get one of these top quarterbacks next year, I would be stunned if they pass it on the opportunity to do that.
Man, I read the mock I read from CBS Sports. They got Bryce Young going to the early mock. I think Bryce Young is being mocked to the Detroit Lions, I think.
Well, I could see him going to Detroit, to Seattle. Whoever gets the number 1 pick, in my opinion, will take it.
Yeah, they're taking a QB.
Barring like somebody having a Joe Burrow type of year.
Yeah, somebody.
Keep an eye on this name. A lot of people think he has a chance to have a good year. Tyler Van Dyke out of Miami. That's a guy who I think could make a case for the 3rd QB. Because after number 2, Stroud and Bryce Young is wide open.
Dude, they got. You remember Will Levis out of Kentucky?
Yeah.
He's on there.
I like him. Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be interesting, man. I think they're gonna bring. They're 6 right now, but they're gonna add like probably 4 or 5 more QBs on that list, man. It's gonna be a QB heavy draft, man. QB heavy draft with teams needing QBs. So we'll find out. I still think these guys can find success, man. I think Pickett is going to be a really good quarterback, and he went to a good situation with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we'll find out once everything kicks off. All right, that's all we have for y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know how you feel. Listen to this through Apple or Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating. Let us know how you feel about these topics we talked about. In the description box below on YouTube, check out strike7sports.com for this content on NFL, the NBA, and much more. Have a blessed night. Peace. We out. We'll be right back, though.